everybody. Welcome to my first ever Microsoft Flight Simulator stream. Welcome. 1:45 AM local time. Today we're taking the PMDG 777 up to Glasgow. We're gonna switch over into the iFly 737 Max and then head back down here to where I am at the minute in Birmingham. Just going to close the map here so you can have a much wider view, and we're going to head into the flight deck. We're actually supposed to depart in 13 minutes, so we are really cutting things fine. So welcome everybody. It's my first ever stream, so yeah. Anyways, we need to get things started. So the first things first is we need battery power. This battery's over on this side. And we now need external power. Do we not have a GPU connected? It doesn't look like it. Okay, we'll connect one. So we're going to just head over into ground operations in our EFB and just request ground power. And we'll get some boarding done by GSX as well.
Boarding requested.
Yep, done by Swissport. So we can do ground power. So we're going to switch use on. Let's turn the sim down for you guys. Yeah, wonderful. I'm just going to play some music in the background as well. Let's just turn that down a bit. There we go, wonderful. Right, gonna go iFly, passenger seats, cabin utility, ADIRS on, emergency lights can go on. We'll just do a flow on this side, and we'll leave it as it is for now. Have logo lights. Don't need to board crew, and we'll wait for these to all the systems to start up. Go to the U, go to the EFB. We're gonna request data from SimBrief, and there we go, so there's our route into Glasgow.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Wonderful from you, GSX. And we'll wait for our system to start up. Yes, it does take a bit of time on the 777. For the meantime, I'm just going to quickly go over my charts. As a matter of fact, I could use it from here. Yeah, we'll
check completed.
Have a look. So we're just currently stood at here, you see, so we're just so you can center on. No, okay, but where's our airplane? For some reason it don't want to show us. There we go. So we're here, and all the systems, I think they're nearly done now, nearly ready to turn on. I'm going to also turn on, so theory's on. It's going to take a few minutes for that to warm up. And yeah, so we're just getting passengers boarding through stairs because the jet bridges at this airport do not want to work. We're at Mako Simulations, Birmingham. We're flying down to Pyrex, Glasgow. Have a few brain farts, it's because of the time. Right, so our systems are online, and apparently our ADIRS time to align is 0 minutes, which means I need to change this in my settings. So I'm just going to make sure that is set to realistic for next time I fly with this, and I'll just make sure actually that my airplane is configured correctly. So just go through my equipment very quickly. Yeah, we'll give them Wi-Fi on board, and 2KU band, and a bank angle, 400, 300, 200, 160, 40. We'll get all of these on. 5. Resettable siren, yes, especially on this. Altitude approach oral, clue alertless monitor. We'll leave that. And I think that's all good from here. Displays, kilos, we don't use freedom units. Does it like we'll leave the radio altimeter. Don't need the 3-mile range ring. Minimum runway length is okay. And I guess yeah, that looks all good. Wonderful. Okay, let's get some flight planning done. So based on our initial position, we are currently at Echo Golf Bravo Bravo, standing at gate 56 Charlie, 56 Charlie, and we'll just whack this here. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. How good is he? Football reference there. Right, we'll just request our route. From SimBrief, we will select the payload, and we shall select the fuel, and we shall now load in the route. I am being very lazy with this, but who isn't? Right, I'm gonna use Navigraph for my main source of charts rather than the EFB. Ooh, I love that sound. The route uplink, wonderful. So, right, so we're gonna load you in. And yeah, I think that's all good. No, it still needs to load in. We'll give it its time. And there we go. Activate and execute you. Right. Since we've already technically refueled, seatbelts and fuel fuel can come on. We'll turn our window heats on as well. We'll leave the actually we'll turn on this one to auto. I think it's how it's configured. I'm not too sure. Right, press the magic B button, set you over to hectopascals, and Birmingham's elevation is 339 feet. I've flown out of it that many times that you just kind of remember this one off by heart. So we'll just bring this up to 1339. Kind of finicky to get the MFRA. I'm gonna go 1,000 feet above your airport elevation. There we go. Alright. We'll get there in the end. 1339, wonderful. We're taking off runway 15, so that's got a heading of 146. And the stop altitude for all Birmingham SIDS is 6,000 feet. Wonderful. We'll just get that in. So runway 15, we're taking the Loveland 1 Yankee departure. This is standard northern departure when you fly out of Birmingham on the southern runway. And from Loveland, we're going to go direct to Trent, Tipple, Denbigh, Polegate, Nelson, Ribble. We'll take the Ribble 1 Golf arrival into Glasgow. I think what runway is in use? We're runway 23 today. It's runway 23 via the Lanark transition. So runway 23, Ribble 1 Golf. No transition there. So from Lanark, we're going to go direct to the centre fix. Actually, no. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a user waypoint. So for this, we're going to just need to grab runway heading. Runway QDM is 228 inbound. So that will be. This is where it gets me a bit messed up. I don't know whether to add or subtract. I think it's subtract when it's on the right hand side. So we're going to give ourselves a 5-mile base leg. So that's going to be 328. We'll see in a second. 328/5. We'll just whack you there. We'll get you to fill in that gap there, and we'll get you to fill in that discontinuity there. Boom. Bob's your uncle. Let's have a look. We'll turn on our traffic so we can have our range rings. We'll switch over to plan mode, and we'll just go through and make sure that we've got the base leg. It's subtract. It's add when you are on the other side. Subtract. So 228 minus 90 equals 130. 38. This should give us a much neater approach. You can hear the cabin crew are going a bit haywire because we've got so many passengers. See, that's much nicer now. Much nicer, there we go. And I think that's all good. We'll accept our performance. We'll grab our 0 fuel weight and flight level. A cruising altitude, they've given us 32, but I'm pretty sure Simbrief has given us a much lower altitude. Let me just have a look on my flight plan. Simbrief's given us 260, so we're gonna fly at 260. We're not going to be up for long anyways, and 214 at 8 is going to be our gross weight. Now we're at Birmingham and we're at runway 15, which is the runway we're going to take. And pardon myself there, import from aircraft, make sure we're in kilograms. Again, don't use freedom units here. So full length gives us essentially takeoff 246, so we are literally barely using, you know, we're using barely any thrust. As a result, we're going to take intersection Bravo. So I'm actually going to, let's get Simbrief ready for you, Navigraph ready for you to show up. Just bring it up. Just bring up Navigraph here. It's in the bottom corner for you. So if we're in Birmingham, we go to taxi. We're going to go to airport info, takeoff minimums, right? We're taking runway 15 and we're going to take taxiway B intersection, right? If you head over, let me just pin this. If you head over to here, I'm taking intersection Bravo. I'm not going to take intersection Alpha. And intersection Bravo is 2447. Okay, so I'm just going to close you up. Oh, wrong one. Close you up, and we're going to put it in 2447. 2447, enter. So we're going to calculate again, and again it's the same information, so it goes to show that's how light we are. Obviously this is an airplane designed to fly on very long routes. So we're using takeoff 2, selected temp number 46, takeoff flaps 5, center of gravity is 29, 30 degrees. We've got 30%. We've got a trim of 4.5. V speeds are 42, 47, 54. They're within a knot of the EFB. So if 154 sets there, 154 will be set here as well. So we're going to be delayed on our departure, but that's nothing to worry too big about. Flight directors can come on. LNAV, VNAV on the 777, on the 737. It's completely different. We'll go through that when we get ready to depart. I think the airplane is all set up. We're just going to go through our checklist now. The aircraft's checklist just doesn't shout at us. Right, so oxygen, we didn't test it, but we'll be fine. No failures are on. Flight instruments, heading altimeter, parking brake set. That's our pre-flight checklist before start. So flight deck door is not closed. Technically it'll be open right now, but it's closed and locked. MCP, so V2 is set. Heading altitude, that's set. Takeoff speeds 43, 47, 54. Can just confirm them. CG pre-flight is complete. Trim will set that now if we can. 4.5 units. There we go, 4.5. So trim is set. Taxi takeoff briefing. We'll just quickly go through it now. So let me just open up Navigraph. Taxi briefing is simple as this, right? We're going to push back facing west. Taxi over here. Taxi via Victor. Make a right onto Delta. Following Alpha all the way up until Bravo. Hold up Bravo. And then when we are clear to take off, we'll just take Bravo, taxiing south, down runway. And then I'll take off briefing. My mouse is just being a bit slow. We're using the Level 1 mic, so we're going to take off flying straight. Following the annotated max speed is 200 for the initial turn. And then 210 for this turn, 250 knots further on. And stop altitude is 6,000 feet. considering the time, we will probably clear ourselves straight up to our flight level. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, looks like everything's done now. So we're just gonna wait until we are pretty much ready to depart. I'll set you to RTO. Okay, now I think everything's done. So all the passengers are boarding. Yeah, I'll be back in a second anyways. I'm going to nip to the toilet before we depart and grab myself a drink as well. And then yeah, we'll be off on our way into Glasgow. Okay, we are back. Just very quickly, what we'll do is I've just realised something. So my thing is saying VATSIM is online, right? I'm not online on VATSIM. Let me see if I can just fix that very quickly. Let's just change this to. So you're supposed to be saying offline, and it's telling me online. I'm offline. That's just down to the app I'm using.
Passengers bus is coming.
We'll leave it as it is. Right, so we finished. It's like we finished loading our cargo. We're going to just close up our cargo doors. We'll get ready to depart in a second. So we're just gonna head over to you, ground operations, door management. We'll close our cargo forward and aft. Right, I'm gonna go into my EFB settings and get rid of these freedom units that we're using. So feet, meters, knots, hectopascals, kilograms, save preferences. And yep. Right, we're just waiting for the next. Wait, why are you opening? No, you should be closing. Please close. We're actually flying a 777. You'll realise it is a huge airplane. I don't think the sim can actually give it justice on how big the 777 actually is as an aircraft. Obviously your field of view is much wider, so you can see a lot more. a 777 in real life is a massive aircraft. It dwarfs you. But yeah, we'll see what's going on with these doors. They should really be closing. Let me try to close them again. And we'll get our APU started as well. We'll get our electronic hydraulic pumps on to auto, and we'll get our hydraulics on.
Hello. Good night. Welcome on board. Hello. May I see your boarding pass? Boarding pass, please. Hello. Good night.
Oh,
Hello.
no wonder my elevator's still stuck. Okay, not my elevator, my airline. Also, the passengers don't have textures, and that's really irritating. And I think the cargo doors are gonna open. So the cargo doors, you know, you can stay open.
Good night. May I see your boarding
These will close when you want to close.
this way? This way.
I just monitor our APU start up on
Welcome on board.
here.
This way.
It should be on over on.
Hello.
I'm just gonna see which one it's into. Is it?
This way.
It's, there we go.
Good night.
APU is started. EGT is 347. Oil pressure is 70 psi. Oil temperature is 59 degrees Celsius. No quantity 7.7. I don't know what 7.7 is. Could be tons. Could be kilos. Probably kilos.
This way. Hello. Welcome on board. Welcome on board.
It's enough.
This way. This way.
Okay, so the APU's all running. We'll get this back to our checklist. We've got our bleeds on now. We've got our packs on. The packs have decided to come on. And we're going to now just switch this over to the progress screen. It's our current departure. Gives us 54 minutes of flight time. I didn't put in my wins. No, it's 45. It's 10 past. Now, what is actually going to happen is I'm going to very likely, skip, climb straight up to cruise just to beat that that slow climb that we're going to have out of Birmingham. And we're nearly ready to depart as well, so yeah. I'm also going to try to keep everything as realistic as possible from a pilot's perspective. So, in the sense that what I'm going to do is, like, you know, kind of try and keep operations as realistic as possible. Squawking 30. We're going to squawk 3001, and we've not got many passengers left. We're going to now request pushback from GSX as well, so that way we can basically push back as soon as we can, really. One thing unique about 777 is the tail cone is bladed. This is a trait seen on the 777. It's not seen on any other Boeing aircraft. They usually have quite pointy tail cones.
Passengers
Well, the
bus is
777 is one of the only ones which has a bladed tail cone. When I say bladed, I mean it's kind of got a very sharp angle here, whereas most form into a tinier cone. The 777-300 also has a very unique wing design. The raked wingtip is the second Boeing aircraft to have one. Like Boeing passenger aircraft, of course. So essentially, it's where the wingtip comes to an end, roughly here. This is where the original conventional wingtip would end. And you can tell they actually added a bit of sweep to it. And then the idea of this is that it's way more fuel efficient on the aircraft, because the vortexes from the wind, which would normally be generated and, you know, be quite large, get essentially trapped here, and they're much smaller, so it creates less drag, slightly less drag, but over thousands of miles, I'm sure, as you can tell, it's a lot to save. 777's also the only Boeing wide body to have triple bogied gear. So when I say triple bogied, is this 1, 2, 3. So it's got, you know, you could also just say 3 wheels if you're really new to aviation, but it's triple bogie. So Most aircraft have one or
Passengers
two.
boarding starting.
Now, most smaller aircraft have one. 737 has one. 777 has three, and obviously this is to support its weight. The engines are the incredibly powerful General Electric GE90 115B engines, the most powerful airplane engines in the world, still to this day, even after the 777X. The GE9X engines, yeah, these are still the most powerful. The GE9X is bigger, but these just incredibly powerful. The 777-300ER is an incredibly efficient aircraft, and there's a reason why even now it's, you know, it's very still a popular choice for airlines, despite the fact it's near enough the oldest ones are nearly 20 years old. It's just incredibly efficient as an aircraft, especially over long distances, over long hauls, especially with a first class cabin. This airplane is a dream to operate. A lot of cheaper, lower cost airlines do go for the Dreamliner because of its lower operating costs, but with the 777, I think the capacity that it can carry, you can basically turn a lot of profit with this, especially if you go for the full service route. Looks like everyone's boarded now anyways, so we're going to now get ready to essentially depart. So this is what we're going to do now. So once we get the all clear from GSX, which will be any second. Come on, GSX. Give me all clear. 12 minutes delayed. A few more minutes and we'll have operations calling us, asking us why we're delayed. The alpaca will spit at us. The alpaca will spit. There's 370. Wonderful. Should hear that chime from SimBrief now. Board is completed. So the doors are going to close now. I'm going to turn my beacon lights on. And I'm going to, yeah, we don't need the external power. I'm actually going to go to ground connections. I'm going to request release the ground power. Make sure the doors are closing. Are they going to close themselves? That is really, really triggering me. The lack of textures. Not much I can do on that side. We'll close the cargo doors as well. Okay, I'm just going to turn down the music that we've got. And we're going to push nose to the right. And we're going to remove our chocks. So we don't have any chocks now.
Release parking brakes.
And yep, so what we'll do now is we'll release parking brakes.
Commencing push. All engines clear.
We'll start
at will.
elapsed time. And we're also going to go cabin crew, arm size, cross check. Usually captain or the purser will say this. And what the hell is going on here? GSX, what are you doing? This is exactly why I turned crash detection off. Okay. While GSX is doing GSX, we're going to start the engines on the 777. Starting the right engine. And we will also link you up. And now you guys can just enjoy. We've got engine 1, engine 2 is stable, so we're going to start engine number 1 again.
Set parking brakes.
We've got 2 stable engines. Just gonna turn the sim sounds down again. Yeah, that should do us about 50%. Yeah, that's fine. Right. So we've got both engines are started. Head down to our after start checklist now. No, before taxi. So anti-ice is on auto, that's fine. We'll do a quick recall.
Unlocking gear.
So TCAS is off, that's the only warning, that's fine. Flight controls we'll check now, so we'll open up the flight control page. Also drop flaps 5 as well.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
I'm going to do a quick flight control check. Full left, full right, neutral. And we'll do full forward, full back, neutral. And if you just have a look here as well, you can just see full left on the rudder, full right on the rudder, neutral. That's wonderful, that's all good to go. We'll get rid of the flight control page, we'll go back to the checklist page. Like I said, we'll go back to the checklist page. I forgot what the checklist page. Where is the checklist page? There it is, it's at the bottom. That is a proper brain fart. Anyways, ground equipment is clear, and full takeoff checklist flaps set to 5. We'll wait for the all clear from GSX, which we've got. Runway turn-offs can come on, taxi light can come on, APU can come off. Right, we'll just release the brake. We'll just tap our toe brakes as well, see if we can get moving under our own weight. May need a bit of power, just a bit of encouragement to get moving. I'll just blank the DU as well. Actually, let me set this up to, yeah, I might have to take off. There we go, we got movement. Is my flight deck door is not closed? That's a major security breach. I've not flown this 777 in a few months, so that's probably why I'm lacking. Definitely wouldn't have got a phone call from Alpaca Operations. Llama Air would have a field day with this. Just try toe brakes here and make a right hand turn. So the 777 is an incredibly powerful aircraft, and at light weights you should be able to taxi with minimal thrust input. Now imagine a car, and imagine your car is now moving under its essentially its own engine power. You've not added any revs to it. That's just how powerful these engines are. They have that much of a thrust to weight ratio that I've literally derated them as much as possible. I'm still barely going to use any of the runway. So what's a good taxi speed? For me is around about looking at 10 to 15 knots. On an area like this, I like to, usually at Birmingham anyways, when I'm taxiing around this area, I like to keep my taxi speed around about 10 knots until I get onto the straight. There we go, cabin secure, so we can now take off. So, but yeah, coming onto Delta here anyways, I like to taxi quite slow. Once you move on to Alpha, I like to kind of add a bit more power onto it, let the aircraft just kind of ramp up to around about 20 knots. Birmingham isn't really a big airport, and this is about halfway down the runway anyways. It's very unlikely that you use full length at Birmingham unless of course it's busy. So yeah, around about here, I'm going to add a bit of power now just to give it a bit of a kick. to about 20 knots, and then we'll just idle our power. We'll just idle out again. Normally at this time, we would say cabin crew seats for takeoff, please, because we've got full secure cabin. And yeah, so I'm going to just turn on the flight map for you guys. And there we are. Right, as we're approaching, we're going to take this intersection here, so we're just going to add a bit of, we're just going to start slowly braking about 20 knots, around about 15 knots around about here. I'm just going to kind of coast in very leisurely. We'll pretend we've already been given takeoff, so strobe lights are going to come on, and we're going to set our transponder to TARA, T-A-R-A. And we're going to brake some more as well. As you can see, like, without even me adding any thrust, the airplane speed shot up to around about 18 knots. Let's make a left hand turn here. We'll turn our landing lights on as well. So landing lights. I have a shortcut on my controller, and yes, I am using a Gnax controller. You may feel free to judge as you like. But until I've got a better setup, I'm stuck with it for now. Start our chronometer, and we'll hopefully try and make a nice alignment. So 10 knots. Again, if it creeps up to 11, I'll just add a bit of braking, and we'll just wait until about, yeah, about it is fine. A bit of rudder, going full left now. Let's reduce the rudder a bit, just to get a bit more of the airplane over the line. A bit more reduced, just let the airplane kind of coast up. 40% M1. There's engines are stable. Set takeoff power, no slightly forward. And we're going to push a slight forward pressure, 80 knots. There's 80 knots. V1, rotate, slightly lift our nose up, add a bit of rudder, just, there we go, we're in the air now. We're going to increase now a bit more aggressively, positive rate, gear up, pitch to maintain 20 degrees, we're just going to hold our course there. Slightly pitch down on to maintain, so we've just passed our MFRA. And there's 15,000. I'm going to add the autopilot in because it's not reading the speed, so we should not even exceed 210 knots here, so I don't know why it's not picked that one up. We'll just keep that speed restriction. We'll go up to flaps up. You can tell we've got a bit of cloud, low level cloud, because of the way the light is scattering, which I find one of the most, like, one of my favourite features about the flight sim. It's 200 knots, so we did it technically over speed, one whoopsie daisy. Standard pressure now because we're climbing up to 6,000 feet. I'm sure, yeah, it's the second left hand turn is 210. Oh well. Let's get my speeds put in. It's 210 up until BB25. Okay, for some reason it doesn't want to accept that, but we'll be alright. approaching 6,000. We'll clear ourselves right up to 21. $26. I'm also gonna go straight up to climb thrust now. And as we pass, there we go. Now we go to set speed 250 knots after takeoff checklist. Flaps up, turn offs and taxi light can come off. Engine mode selectors are normal anyways, APU is off. That's pretty much it for the 777. It's a very, it flies itself. Let's sync up our heading. There we go. Let's turn this down a bit. (10,000 feet), and we'll switch our seatbelt signs to auto. Landing lights can come off, and yep, I think that's pretty much it for the takeoff part of this flight. And proceed direct to Loven. I find the sound of the 777 very relaxing. I'm just gonna bring down the sim sounds a bit. Just making a right hand turn. We'll approach our top of climb before we even hit Trent, which goes to show how powerful we are, how overpowered this aircraft is for such a short flight. And we'll reach our top of climb at 2:33. Local time is 2:30, so 2 minutes. Our top of descent isn't until 2:50, so we've got roughly around about 20 minutes of cruise. Minus 7, so no, -2. So yeah, we've got roughly 17 minutes roughly of cruise, so that's not bad. Now in real life, how many shortcuts are you going to get at this time? Quite a few, but we're going to just fly up until Trent. There we are. Wonderful. It's been a very relaxing ride. Very laid back, very chill. Look at our Navigraph map as well, so you can just see we're going to make a left-hand turn very soon. Why did you zoom right back out? It's ridiculous how fast we're going as well, because we're already travelling at 438 knots, so that tops out to around about 470 to 480 miles an hour. As a matter of fact, I'm going to quickly calculate that. So it translates to roughly 504, so I was even off there. So roughly 500 miles an hour already. And 777 is an incredibly good piece of machinery. And there we are. So we're approaching our top of climb now. Just enjoy the ride, guys. So you know what? We're going to set ourselves a target because I've been flying for a while. Obviously, I'm hoping to grow my channel. So you know what? What I'll do is for every milestone we kind of hit, I'll do something big. So one of the ones I'm going to do next plane is flying across the Atlantic in a Dash 8. Now you may be thinking, how in the hell am I going to get a Dash 8 across the Atlantic? Well, I'm going to fly to, so we'll start off from London. We're going to do London to New York. What we'll do is we'll fly from London. We'll stop off at Manchester first, followed by Edinburgh, and then Aberdeen. From Aberdeen we'll make a trip up to Sunburg, and then if weather's good we'll go to Vega. If not, we'll go directly to Reykjavik with just a reduced load. From Reykjavik we'll fly to the new Nuuk airport, and then from Nuuk probably to Iqaluit in Canada. From there we'll head down to probably Montreal, and from Montreal down to New York LaGuardia as well. If the weather's good, we'll even try and go for the what's it called, expressway visual. If not, we'll just go straight in. But yeah, that's a goal. I think we'll do that for 1k. So if we can get to 1k eventually, we'll aim for 1k by the end of the year. I think that's a realistic target. 1,000 subs by the end of the year. Proceed direct to Rebel. Again, it's very empty. There's no traffic, obviously, and at this time there would be no traffic anyway. So proceeding direct to Rebel. Anyways, now that we're at our top of climb, we're actually going to prep our descent. So I'm just gonna take a quick look at the weather in Glasgow. In fact, I can use the EFB. So performance, landing en route, import from OFP. We're coming in runway 23 and import aircraft details. So that's going to be our approximate landing weight, 221.2 tons. We're going to go flaps 25, auto brakes 2, no credit on reverse, and we've got 237, 8 and 1026. We've got essentially nearly a direct headwind. Now can we do it with auto brakes 2? Yeah, but it's going to be a bit of a push, so we'll go auto brakes 3. Wonderful. So again, we're going 221. Where did I mess up? I must have messed up importing 0 fuel weight. Right, there we go. That's not even a problem anyways, but I'm surprised it did that. I thought it would have already loaded, but not to worry. 221. There was a discrepancy of 1 knot, so that just really goes to show like the airplane was, there was like too big a discrepancy. I would have definitely double checked that with 221, 221.2. This is also down to fatigue as well. That's why also flying while tired is never safe in real life, so never do it. 25 148 VREF, yeah, go on, we'll add 5 knots. Going auto brakes 3. Auto brakes 3. And everything else is all set there. We're going to 1026 is our QNH. 1026. Okay, wonderful. Now we need to find out what our minimums is. So I'm just going to bring up my Navigraph charts again. So I'm just going to show you here. There's our charts. I'm going to make them a bit bigger for you as well. Yeah, it should be about alright. I don't really check my charts too much. Well, I do, but depending on the approach. So we're going to come from the Ribble 1 Golf. So we're coming from Ribble. At 260 we're going to be at Aslib, and that's where we'll begin our descent, probably around there. Odigi at 200 and Lanark at flight 070. Then going to make a turn into Glasgow, kind of somewhat like that, and then onto the ILS. Now, well, on the ILS we're going to be obviously descending by the ILS. Platform altitude is 2,900 feet. The number we need is this one here, the decision height. So we're going for 221 feet. That's our decision height. So using the barometric, we're going 221. The reason why is because it's more accurate. So there's a specific reason I read online why we use the barometric altitude rather than the radio altitude. So you only really use the radio altimeter on category 2 or 3 ILSs when you're over the runway. Just double checking, that's 221. It is wonderful. So that's all set, but yeah, that's why we use the barometric altitude rather than the radio, unless we're obviously going to be landing up there the runway. One last thing we need to do before we land is our fixed rings. So we're just going to grab the runway, and we're now going to do some quick maths. Ignore that. That would have been better for a meme. I grew up in the Man's Not Hot era. Right, so the first distance we want to add is our top of descent. So that would be 26 times 3. So that would be roughly 78. Our second one is going to be 10 miles out from the airport. That's when we really want to be at 180 flaps 15. And the last one will be a gear down config, gear down flaps 20, which is 6 miles out. And as you can see, the fixed ring nearly directly intersects our top of descent. Look, bang, that's near enough perfect. So yeah, what you do is your height divided by 1,000 times 3. And obviously I do a formula, so I break it down into 10. So I would usually do, if I'm at, let's say 38,000 feet, I'll do 30. So 30 is automatically, you take that to 90, and then 8 times 3 is 24, so that gives you 114. And that's just kind of how it works. It always go up in 3s as well, so 114, 117, you know, 120 if you're ridiculously high. Correction, 114 is 38, 39, no, 39 would be 117, and 40 is 1, yes, I was right. Again, we've got roughly 9 minutes until our top of descent. So it does look like it's been a very smooth fly actually. Just enjoy some of the views, enjoy some of the music. Free non-copyright playlist. You know what, I should actually link it. I will link it. I'm going to use this playlist I think for my streams, so I'll link them in the next one, and obviously give them credit as well because music is good. But yeah, I just dropped my phone on my pocket. Wonderful. Fatigue 101 there. Yeah, obviously for me the most important part about flying is having fun and doing it as well. Yeah, if we just do a quick let's have a look on Volantis to see where we are. So we're coming up towards Blackpool now, so that's on our left, that's Blackpool. No wonder it's so light there. British joke for those of you that don't get it, especially if you live up north. If you grew up north, I was actually grew up in Birmingham, but I was born in Manchester. My parents were born in Manchester. Grandparents born in Manchester. On both my mom and my dad's side. So you can see that where my connection is. However, I've built a life in Birmingham, although I am leaving hopefully soon to move to London, new job, so that's interesting. I'll be rejoining the world of cabin crew. I used to do it for one airline, I'm now joining another airline, so yeah. I'm not going to give away too much, but it's going to be fun. New city, obviously I'm only young as well, I'm only 21, 22 in April, but yeah, I'm quite young, so for me it's a big change, but fortunately I've got family there. But yeah, I've built a life in Birmingham. I've got a daughter as well who, you know, she lives in Birmingham, so yeah, I visit her pretty much whenever I can. So yeah, it's yeah, so when you build, anyways, I'm going off topic here. So when you live up north, so there's a joke, like if you leave lights on in a house, your parents will go, "Is this Blackpool?" There's Blackpool there, because Blackpool is obviously very lit up. I've only been Blackpool a handful of times actually. Someone who basically goes to Manchester all the time, I've only really been up a few times. And last time I went up there was in 2013. I still remember it like it was yesterday. But I went there for like Haven. It's for my 10th birthday. Wow, that makes me feel old. And yeah, we went up to a caravan park called Haven, and Haven's, you know, it's nice. I met a few friends, went swimming, through and through, just enjoyed myself. It was a really good birthday. I remember I got a model airport set, like just like a toy one, and I thought I lost it. I remember crying about it at like my big age of 10, and my mum told me off. But like, why wouldn't I cry about it? I ended up leaving that airplane in America when I went to see my grandma that summer, and couldn't get it back for a couple of years. Well, a year, because I didn't go back in 2013 for a year. So yeah, that was just there. But yeah, one thing about me growing up, I've always been into aviation as well. I'm near the top of the descent, so I'm going to just quickly go through again. So you can see, yep, Navigraph is up, that's fine. So 260, 200, 70. So we'll just check our FMC, make sure that is all correct. 260, 270, that's fine. So we're going to go initially down to about 200. The airplane will descend on its own. This post was made by the Boeing gang, because Airbus don't know how to do that for some reason. You have to manually descend the aircraft, and I've left Navigraph open. You know, flight deck seems guilty of that quite a few. I think I could get away with it at least once or twice, you know. Open up our checklist as well. We'll go to ads. Let me just mute you. Okay, music can come back on. I should probably use a better streaming service than YouTube, but hey, we've got music. That's what matters. Look at that, some nice cloud on the right as well. I think I'm going to change my second flight. I'm not going to do Glasgow anymore. I mean, I'm not going to do flight up to Glasgow anymore, and back to Birmingham. I was just thinking, look at the time. I mean, you're looking at another hour, 2 hours of flying, and obviously it's late, and obviously I kind of planned this stream very last minute. And that said, I started setting everything up around about 12, so it's nearly 2 hours ago. Well, 2 hours it took me. We'll do a very short hop out to we'll go to Belfast, Aldergrove. We'll go Aldergrove Airport, and yeah, we'll whip out Union Airways, my fake airline that I made. striking light blue livery with a B on the tail to represent Manchester. I do use Union in X-Plane as well. I've used it on the A321. There's a reason why I use that, because I like to fly my own routes, you know, without having to worry about following schedules and, you know, not so much schedules, but like I, for example, can't fly a Ryanair route in the USA because that just doesn't make sense, or Delta Airlines route in the UK. Again, that doesn't make sense. So what I do is I have my own airline that I could just kind of have fun with. If I want to fly from A to B, regardless of what aircraft type is used, I just do that. As for the livery in itself, I've had a few prototypes, and then this one just kind of has been my favourite. But the ones in X-Plane, they have faces, like they have, well, I'll say faces, it's kind of similar to Norwegian. I take inspiration off them, where I use people I know. So far I only had my daughter on one of the tails. I had my girlfriend at the time on one of the tails, and obviously me, her and my daughter on another one. Obviously we split up eventually, so I did have to kind of mothball them liveries for a bit while they're getting repainted, and I don't know how long that's going to take, but one of them put a lot of time on as well. I've got you know, the silhouette of New York on it. It was really nice. It was on the 757, and yeah, it's just been mothballed, but that's the fun. That's what happens when you put partners on, you know, liveries. But yeah, my daughter is on the tallest A321 XLR, flagship for Union Airways. It's my daughter, so it's the most important. Why am I not on the before takeoff? I should be on the descent checklist. So yeah. But yeah, that's Union Airways for you. So we're going to take that up to Belfast, and we'll give it again 1 Delta Juliet as our call sign. And it's the iFly 737 Max that I'm using. I bought it last week. What an airplane. When I compare it to the PMDG 737-800, I'm like, wow. They're both good. They're both incredibly good airplanes. I do like them both. But I don't know, I think I prefer the iFly, and this is coming from someone who used to work on the 737 and the Max. So yeah, I think because of that, you know, I just prefer it, which is funny because I do prefer the sound of the CFM 56 engines, but the leaps really grew on me. I didn't like them at first. I've always preferred the gear turbofan for the Pratt & Whitney, so I didn't like them. I didn't like the Max just purely because of that. But when I started flying on it, I started to really fall in love with the engines, and I love it now. It's one of my favourites. PW4000 is still my favourite for the 767-300. I think in second place I'm gonna probably give it to the RB211 on the 757. Yeah, those two are like my two favourite engines. Those are the two ones that really resonate with me and give me the most nostalgia. Obviously, my grandma living in America, I used to fly to Atlanta. She lived in Atlanta, so I used to fly with Delta Airlines a lot. 767-300ER became very quickly my most flown on aircraft, and even though I've flown on it once, twice in the last 10 years, it's still one of my most flown wide body aircraft. In fact, I think it is my most flown wide body aircraft. It is. The 767 series is again the most flown wide body aircraft that I've got, that I've flown on, and that's again because of Delta's influence. So because of that, and because the nostalgia surrounding the sounds, that's why the Pratt & Whitney 4000s are my favourite. The RB211 is another one, because the RB211 got me into watching plane videos on YouTube. This is the first time I really entered the aviation community and how I learned about Flight Simulator and everything. So this is the story as we begin our approach. I used to play well, I used to like muck around. I used to play the PlayStation or whatever, go on the PC which we had. Now when I came back from, I went on holidays to Spain, and I remember watching videos afterwards after we got back, and I was watching Thomas Cook 757-200. I remember it because I remember searching it up. I remember the sound, and I loved the sound. It was the first time I'd ever sat in front of the wing of an airplane. Every other time I sat behind a wing, because obviously I travelled in economy class. Thomas Cook was new for me at the time. I'd never flown on a narrow body jet, and I'd never flown well, short haul. So on the 757, I was like, wow, it's nice, it sounds amazing though, I love the sound. I didn't realise at the time, by the way, that that was just the difference between sitting in front and behind the wing. I was too young. I was probably, what, 7 years old, so I didn't understand that. It took me years to understand that, actually. So about 2014, that was when I understood that. So I was about 11 when I learned that one. And yeah, but what happened was, send down 7,000 now, step down. What happened was essentially I just fell in love with it. I was like, wow, this buzzsaw, it just sounds amazing. I didn't realise that that was like the RB211, you know, that I'd fall in love with over time. So yeah, I think those two airplanes, that one had a massive influence on my love for aviation. And it's funny, I've only ever flown a 757 3 times in my life. 2010, 2012 and 2022. So yeah, for an airplane I love so much, I've not flown on it much. I'll say 3 times I've actually flown it. Yeah, I've flown it 4 times actually, because the 2 times outside of the time I flew to Spain were one-off occasions. So that just goes to show that the 757 was just not an aircraft I flew on much, never got the chance to. And I was tempted to book, you know, onto the last 757 flight with Jet2, but coming just after Christmas I was essentially skint, so that was just like shut down for me, which is a shame, because I really did want to, you know, fly on that route. But there you go, 757s galore in America. United and Delta will not be phasing those out for a while. I've got lots of time. I've never flown the 747, and I really do want to, so thank you Lufthansa for keeping them alive, because of a certain virus that decided that you know, retiring the Queen of the Skies for an airline in the UK that is very big, and I could have probably flown on it by now, cough cough, British Airways, forced them to retire it. Alongside their 767s with the RB211s, I don't think there's any of them now in the world. Or maybe there's a few, I'm not sure. It's a shame though what happened with the 767s. Oh god, I've left Navigraph open again. Right, I'm just going to close the charts. There we go. Right, our speed, if you notice, is bleeding away, so I'm going to add some speed brake. I'm going to go for about 50%, about there. Right, so we approach 15,000 feet, flight level 150, sorry. We're going to now get ready to land, so we're going to turn on our landing lights, and we're going to turn on our seatbelt signs. The plane is slowly slipping away, but that's fine. And we'll just put our speed brakes back into. There we go. We'll just leave them there. Leave it in armed position now. Plane will eventually pitch up to slow down. There you can see Glasgow's in front of us as we begin, as we are nearly approaching. I'm going to open up the in-flight map for you guys now. Oh, it's already open. I forgot to close it. No worry, I'm just going to zoom in then. that too high? I think we can use that. Yeah, I think that's fine. Right, so we are roughly 12 minutes out, so in a couple minutes we'll do the 10 minutes landing announcement, which means we will mute up YouTube and we will focus on now our approach. We'll sterile the cockpit essentially at 10,000 feet. But yeah, oh, it's turning us off. Yep, we've bled off a lot of speed. Right, I'm gonna add some. I've got any speed restriction? I do. I've got 230. Right, I'm gonna add more speed brake now. And there's 10 minutes, 10,000 feet. So we're just gonna sterile cockpit. No more music now. Come on, you're not supposed to go below 10,000 feet. Let's just head back into VNAV mode. I'm actually going to now drop flaps 1. And just on my speed brake. Straight down to 230. We'll now manage the speed manually from here down to 2,000. We'll go down to 6,000 initially. And speed's bleeding away. Alright, where's our speed restrictions? Ugh. To get below 245, I'm pulling flaps 5. Cabin crew, 10 minutes to landing. By just doing that, I've added quite a bit of drag. It's going to now try and pitch down to get to altitude. We're going to add some speed brake again. It's very slippy. Cabin secure. And we're going to head down to 2,900 now. As a result, since we're heading now to 2,900 feet. We're going to just let the airplane kind of descend at its own pace. Yeah. Okay, you don't need to tell me off that the speed brake's extended. We're still 200 feet above. And so blank the D, now we're blank checklist. Distance to go is around about 30 miles, so we'll just maintain 230 for a bit when we get back on profile. And we don't have a flaps 10, I don't know why. Yeah, we're gonna go flaps 15 in a minute. Flaps 15 speed is 230. We can technically, but I want to get to around about, when I get to about here, we'll descend to about 180 knots and then we'll go flaps 15. The airplane will kind of descend at its own pace now. Again, we're just kind of letting the airplane come in. Once we get to around about, yeah, well, the distance we are at 23. Yeah, we'll reduce our speed now to about 200 knots. And we're gonna go flaps 10. I mean flaps 15. A very healthy height now, so we're just going to make this left-hand turn. I'm also going to see if I can get that the trim setting on as well, because there we go. We'll do them. It's quality of life things, just make life a bit easier. Okay, maybe not so much that, because I don't actually have a throttle that I'm going to use. So progress, no menu, actions, no PMDG setup. It's all very 100 miles an hour now. Simulation, show thrust lever position. No, because I don't have thrust levers. Right, as we're approaching our base leg now, 15 miles out, we're going to just reduce speed to 180, and we're just going to 180 it. Just very, very, very shallow. I'm going to shallow off this descent a lot. There's a bit of terrain here.
2500.
We should be okay now. There's VOR lock. Loc mode engaged. It should capture localizer. There we go. Localizer captured. And we'll turn on our turn off lights now. So we undershot our localizer actually. But that's fine. We'll approach our mode. We'll on approach mode now. And we'll go 160. We'll go 170 now. This is literally just pure turbulence. That's just kind of like slingers us about a bit. I want to look at a stand as well. I'm just going to plan my stand. Just make sure charts is switched off now, just so you don't have to worry about that getting in your way. I'm going to plan for a stand. Right, let's get one. No suitable parking. Oh, you'll find a suitable parking very, very soon. Probably stand 20. It'll take 30. Well, we're going to make you Let's make it big enough for me, mate. Pause. 160 now, 160 till 5. Final approach speed is going to be 153. Gear down flaps 20. Alright, taxi light on. Now we're going to go down to 150 knots. In fact, we'll take... Yeah, we'll go down. 155. 35, 153. Alright, wonderful. Autopilot disengage. And we're going to hand fly now. Airplane's auto throttle will manage the throttle, which is one thing I like about the 777 is the auto throttle does manage the approach throttle. Cannot see the pappies, I'm going to go purely off my instruments for now. P-brake arms geared down and landing lights are out. Auto brakes are armed. Yeah, that before landing checklist is complete. Let me just get myself back on path. It's getting a bit bumpy now. As usually does happens when you get close to the ground, the wind starts knocking up from the buildings and hits you. You trip. It's quite a bit of chop. Oh, what's it telling me off for? We're supposed to be on before land. We're supposed to be on landing checklist. Allow me to unstabilize my approach. Right, let's get back on the path. At 400 feet, that's fine. And stabilize my approach a bit more.
Approaching minimums. 200.
I don't know why the pappies aren't working.
Minimums.
Yeah, continue.
Light slope. 60, 50, 40, 30.
Flaring. Too aggressive on the flare, come on. Yeah, we'll be
20,
fine.
10,
Flare a bit more. Oh,
5.
that's going to be firm. Nope, never mind, we're going to butter. Come on. It's not the best landing, but I'm still getting used to the flight dynamics. Plus, I had no pappies to kind of work with, but oh god, we don't have much runway at Glasgow, do we? Reversers can come off anyways. Most of the manual braking. And yeah, we're okay. Hot brakes, but we'll be okay. Okay, wonderful. We're just going to make a left-hand turn here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Glasgow. Local time is way past your bedtime. If you have work tomorrow, you are utterly ruined for the next day, and I hope you bring a monster. Not the best landing, but I know my landings are going to be much better in the 737. So yeah, we're going to get that set up to go to Belfast. Hopefully, if the sim doesn't crash. If the sim crashes, the stream basically will end. But if the sim doesn't crash, we should be fine. Anyways, let's set you to standby. Transponder standby. We're just going to set you over to your shutdown checklist. Flight directors can reset. We can reset the flight directors and disengage the auto throttle too. We'll get the APU started. And what's time we say we're taking? 30? Yeah. Oh, and auto brake 2 off. Let's look at the size of this aircraft. Let's get some music on. Yeah, APU looks like it started up, and we're gonna just come around and we're gonna take stand number 30. Like I said, I'll make you fit. Fled very aggressively though. It goes to show the flight handling dynamics of this aircraft is just a bit different to what I was a bit used to. But again, it was a smooth landing, late landing, and probably should have went around, but given the time, I wasn't going around. Now there will come times, especially in the morning streams, where I will be following procedures to the letter. But I think at this time it's just a bit of fatigue is now kicking in, a bit of tiredness. Alright, we'll just turn off our landing lights now. So the aircraft just kind of guide itself in now. Right, I'm not going any further than this, and I don't care, but do you see that giant pole in the way? You parked a bit too short on askew. No, I didn't. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Glasgow. We'll get the jet bridge connected. Wait for that to drop below 6%, and then we can switch off our beacon lights. Yep. Oh, that's wrong. Right. Beacon light can come off. Seatbelt signs can come off. Cabin crew doors to manual. Cross check report. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Glasgow. And looks like we do have ground power connected. We'll just switch off our APU. Now, how did the jetway connect? Quite good actually. The amount of times I've seen jet bridges that have been too bad, like they've some of the, like this one's clipping. This is so bad how it is, but yeah, it does look like very solid flight in the end. Hard landing, but not so much hard landing, but also a bit of a firm landing. A bit of a late landing. That's it. A bit of a late landing. But yeah, wonderful. Right. What I'm going to do is very quickly we're going to reload. We're going to get a new flight sorted. So yeah, I'm going to leave you with the slideshow. Just enjoy some of the screenshots I've taken, and I will be right back with you. Hello everybody, we are back at Glasgow, different gate this time in the iFly 737 Max, and yeah, we're going to be heading down to Belfast. Now let me just bring the sim sounds a bit up. So we're in the iFly 737 Max, ready to essentially get everything underway. Wonderful, right, so just get the weight sorted. We'll get some battery power and we'll just quickly initialize systems, sim menu, ground support, connect that way the battery doesn't die. Let's get some ground power. We need to be a bit quick with this. We're supposed to depart at 25 minutes. We can do it. Right now, you can do a 25-minute turnaround. We can do a 25-minute turnaround for sure. So yeah, this is the Union Airways aircraft. We've got a nice cabin. Well, look who it is! It's me! I'd made myself an in-flight magazine. So yeah, this is our cabin. This is actually a modified Aeromexico livery and a modified alpaca livery kind of put together and then added my own twist. So yeah, Union Airways, Ardwick. Growing up in Manchester, I'm a Man City fan. Ardwick AFC was a team that formed basically before Man City became Man City, and the B represents Manchester. UX B, Union Airways B. And we're next to Ryanair 737-800. Right, we can't dawdle around though. We need to get passengers on board.
Boarding requested.
And we also need to get some fueling done as well. So for today's flight we're going to carry 4.5 tons of fuel, so that's 2.25 in each tank. I'm going to turn our valves on, that's fine. We'll get our ADIRS aligned. IRS is aligned, not ADIRS. Position in it, EGPF, gate 10 today. It's in the database, that's wonderful. Right, route, Echo Golf Papa Foxtrot. No cruise boarding. Golf Alpha Alpha, we're going Union UNX. I think it's, we're going for 1 Bravo Delta.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
And activate execute for the time being. 1025. Our MFRA is field elevation 26 plus 1000, so 1026. Okay, you've just drove through the terminal, mate. 1026, that's fine anyways. Okay, now, coming out of here, we're going to grab the, we're going to take runway 23, number 1 hotel.
Blocking gear.
That's it. From Noble, we're going to go Lima 186. Lima 186 to TRN and P600 to Blacker. This is literally a very simple, straightforward route. The approach couldn't get more simple. It's literally going to be a straight shot in. Runway 23, 225, that's it. That is literally it. Set you to RTO. Yeah, just skip through our legs. From Blacker direct to the centre fix. We are not faffing around for this flight. Right, we're still refueling. We're going to set our sit stop altitude today, which is 6,000 feet. And our perf has us at a cruising altitude of quite low. We're going up to only 14,000 feet. Flight level 140. And cruise winds are today 235 at 41. It's a lot more manual on the for the 737 compared to the 777. ISO deviation is +4. See with 777 you just basically copy paste. You don't even copy paste, you just put your weights in and fly. With this, no, it's a lot more manual. 4.5 is our fuel, and we'll just put in our passenger weights in a second. So we're just going to go to performance payload. We've got 127 passengers, which that's about a decent amount. Cargo on board, we've got 2.427. We can whack that all in the front. 2427. Okie dokie. Whilst doing that, reserves on today's routes. Our alternate is Prestwick. We're gonna go with the minimum 1.8. Okay, that's pretty much everything done on this end, except maybe the runway course, which is 229, which we'll set here. Now, I actually didn't do the proper pre-flight flow for the 737. But I could quickly do that actually now. So obviously, head upstairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green lights. That's wonderful. We'll check our squibs. Left and right. Fault fire detector. We'll do fault test. So fault APU detector inert master caution light is illuminated, and the fire overheat will go. Yep. Engine 1, engine 2 wheel well overheat. Master caution fire warning light is on. That's just going to ring for a bit. That's fine. Manual gear lever door is open. Let me just. The manual gear lever door is open. Circuit breakers are in place. Check the documentation of the aircraft, which is all fine because it already is. IRSs have alarms. We can switch the lower yaw damper on. We'll do a Mach airspeed warning test. We'll do a stall warning. Too early. What is that? And there's a stall warning. Let's do a. Can we do an oxygen test? Oxygen test, that's fine. So it looks like, yeah, a pre-flight is pretty much all set up. Looks like oh no, it's our thingy's not lined up yet, our IRS is. But our how's it lined? Our fuel pumps. No, fueling is complete. Exit lights can come on. Armed. And we will turn on our low pressure pumps as well. This is what the fuel pumps sound like on the 737. How long do we have left until our iris aligns? 3 minutes. So we can get approximate now zero fuel weight. So 63.2 is going to be our estimated takeoff weight. So I'm just going to grab my estimated my takeoff performance data. We're going to take, so again we're going to take intersection Bravo today and runway 23, which gives us 2304 meters. Meters, not freedom units, remember. We're going for 63.2 is our takeoff weight, and we will grab sun sim brief. So right, so M1. So takeoff 2. With that light, that we're literally gonna use 52. So again, we're gonna be pushing the engines nowhere near their max. And flaps 5. Trim will automatically set itself 699er. And now my sim brief has given me speeds of 37, 37, 45, 36, 36, 44. So that's within 1 knot, so that's fine. 144 set here as well.
May I see your boarding pass?
Wonderful. Cruising altitude of 16,000. Flight director's on. Also throttle is armed. It's been nearly finished boarding. We'll get APU started.
Good night.
And we'll get our window heats on. Oh, I think. Oh yeah, they're all on. That's wonderful. Our ILS, in the event that we do need to return, we will tune up the ILS for Glasgow runway 23, which is, just based off sim brief, 10-1. So it's exactly the same as Birmingham's actually, 10-1. 11.0.1 on U. Box 1 and box 2 is 11.0.1. Wonderful, wonderful. Squawk for this flight, I'm gonna go with 2122. 2122. So the IRS is near enough aligned. We'll just check our plan mode to make sure everything's okay. Just gonna make a left-hand turn up to no ball, right-hand turn. We'll go through the charts in a minute. That's literally the route. That's how simple it is. Based off this alone, we've got a flight time of 25 minutes. Wheels up, wheels down. It's very, very short. APU generator can come on. We're going to wait 3 minutes for our APU bleed system. So let me just start the clock here. Wait 3 minutes. And we'll go through our taxi. We'll go through our takeoff. Oh, look at that. IRS is aligned. Right, we'll go through everything. We'll go through our pre-departure checks now. And I'll go through some more documentation I may need to go through, such as, for example, do we have any noise abatement procedures? We'll go to departure. So it doesn't say, so there's no NADP procedures. Okay, that's wonderful. So we'll just quickly go through our briefing then. We'll go through a quick taxi, quick takeoff briefing. So if I just bring up Navigraph for you. So we've just currently sat here at the domestic pier, Kilo. We're going to push back facing north on Lima and taxi onto Lima, onto Golf. We're going to make a right hand turn at Golf up to Alpha. From Alpha, we're just going to follow Alpha all the way up to Bravo. We're going to hold short Bravo on. When we take off, we're going to take off. Heading 229 degrees. Going to climb out at 225, the radial 225, outbound from the Glasgow VOR till about till we intersect the 004 radial for Turnberry. This is all RNAV for us, so we don't have to worry about tuning up anything. Actually, I'm going to tune it up for situational. No, I'll leave it. I would normally tune it up, but yeah, we're RNAV. And we've got literally triple redundancy. We should be fine. With double redundancy, we should be fine. And then our arrival into Glasgow, I'm going to get rid of Belzoo as well as a waypoint, because let's be real, we're not going to be flying over to the airport to fly back on ourselves. That's literally it. So it's literally, once we get to Turnberry, we're going to make a right-hand turn, probably already begin our descent, and then yeah, it's a very, very straightforward flight. How many minutes has passed? 2, so we can get ready to push back now. Get my doors closed up and get our doors closed up. So, system page, sim menu, doors, close our left forward entry, and we'll close our cargo and our aft entry as well. And is that 3 minutes? Nice, we've got 25 seconds. I think. Oh, it's. not lined up, but it's 227 on. I might auto tune the no, it's not auto tune. It does. I've got to auto tune the ILS on the arrival. Anyways, that's 3 minutes. We can turn on our bleeds. We can get ready to push back and depart now. So, yep. So we're gonna just get our packs on, and we're now going to turn off the music as we are now ready to push back and depart. Wonderful. I didn't have my nav lights on. Union Airways operations. Nice to speak to yous. Why are my spoilers on? Okay. Do you have a moment? Anyways, yeah, let's get ready to push back. Oh. Let's restart Kurato because I accidentally pressed the keybind. Which in the meantime, we will just tell the cabin crew, arm slides, cross check, right, nose to the left. Is Kurato still? Nope, Kurato is restarting. Let's get you running. What are you like, GSX? Do this on stream. Well, I'm on time constraint. Actually, we're 10 minutes early, but that's fine. One thing I love about the iFly is how immensely detailed the cabin is, right? How immense, like this. You know what, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do this procedurally. All the doors are closed, cabin crew, arm slides, cross check. So this is the procedure on a 737. Right, so on my old operator, we had 4 cabin crew. So essentially, if you were arming this slide, you would arm the side. So this is how you do. Flag, you would check the handle and make sure this bottom here, this is called the girt bar, is in those brackets there. Do you see? And that's the procedure for arming a door. You see how on this side it's not down there just because the door's not armed. So one would do one side, while at the other side someone will do the other door, and then obviously you cross check, physically touch the girt bar, you physically touch the door handle, and then you physically check the flag. You always go top to bottom when you're arming, and you always check bottom to top. While when you're disarming, it's you always disarm bottom to top, and then you all you got to do when you're disarming is physically basically check, visually check. So we'll arm the rear slides as well, just to keep things realistic. The reason why we have a flag across the window, and there's a reason for this, is it tells the ground staff that the door is armed, that the slide is armed, so that, essentially a bit of a warning. So do not open the door because you'll get a massive slide in your face and we will not be liable. We will definitely be liable, but you should have saw the flag. Okay, let's actually try and push back again. We're going to have to do all this. We can get rid of this clock anyways. RML nav.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
There's not even... Right. And get rid of the chocks. And the fueling. We'll get rid of the fueling. Get rid of the electrics. We'll get rid of the chocks. If you don't transfer the bus over, the plane will just turn off and it will not be happy with you.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Oh no, I had... did I have it open this whole time? I hope not. I'll rewatch the stream. So now this is where my phone comes in handy. So I can rewatch and see exactly
Locking gear.
if I messed it up. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it did. Wonderful. Right, beacon lights are running anyways. We are ready for pushback. The cabin crew would probably be doing their safety demonstration now as well. That's another thing. Oh god, right. This is, I don't have a chat system running. So yeah, this is Flight Sim 2020 I'm using. Yeah, I don't have live chat. I literally just went on stream on my phone. I'll get live chat system set up soon. Just at the minute, I just don't have it set up. I don't have a second monitor. I do need one. But yeah.
Release parking brakes, please.
Alright, GSX person, chill your beans.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
There's a completely different start procedure on the 737. So first things first, on the 777, you just whacked it into engine start, switch the fuel in, right? Not with this one. Packs have to come off first. Switch engine start. I'm going to use ignition left, but you can use both. But for wear and tear, we can use ignition left. Set the engine to ground. And we're going to monitor this. You've got to do lots of monitoring. You can't just put the fuel in. I mean, you can, but not in this. I'll turn the sim sounds up for you guys as well. So you see what's saying motoring, right? This is called board rotor motoring, BRM. This is a feature with the CFM leaps on the Max. Essentially, we just got to monitor this, and when motoring comes off, then we can inject the fuel, which is now. Just enjoy the start sound.
Please set parking brakes. Unlocking gear.
So that howl at the end just kind of tells us that the engine's stabilized, right? So we're going to do the same thing for engine number 1. So again, we're going to monitor. I do prefer the 737 because it's a very manual aircraft, unlike the 777, which essentially flies itself. The 737 is far more manual. You know, you've got to start the engines, you've got to turn the packs off, you've got to do it's very old-fashioned. It is a 60s airplane. This is the one thing about the 737. Yes, this is a Dreamliner style cockpit, but it's a 60s airplane through and through. The airplane was developed in the early 1960s. Now we'll pretend that the cabin crew have already done their before departure it's so vain from me to have myself as a banker, but I couldn't find anyone who I could use, so I just used myself. Right, what do we need? Panel style, MISC. Yeah, make sure them cabin sun visors are open, and because they have to be for takeoff and landing. What we're going to do is we're going to dim the cabin lights and hopefully do not open any bins, hat bins on this, because it does do that. This is one of my favourite features as well. You get to muck about with this. There we go. So we're going to set this over to night sleep. There we go. See, this I just wish the click spots were less finicky, but we'll set this up to both zones and forward and aft entry area. No, we need to stall that table, please. And oh god, that's right. We're gonna just quickly go through, or just check our cabin, make sure our cabin is secure. I wonder if it automatically does it itself. Anyways, flaps 5. Full left. 4. The only thing is about the flap sounds is it doesn't fade out like that on the 737. You hear the motors kind of wear down. However, the aggressiveness in the way that they start is definitely akin to the 737, especially the Maxes. Whereas the 777 has more of a whiny sound. The 737 is more of a motory, gritty kind of sound. Right, I'm gonna blank the lower DU. Again, there's so much more you've got to do. Release parking brake, the taxi lights can come on. Then we've got to do a config check. Sometimes the throttle is very unresponsive. And we should be able to taxi now on idle thrust. So we're going to make, again, a left-hand turn here. And we're just going to follow this taxiway. So we're just going to brake. We don't want to take our corners more than 15 knots, well, more than 10 knots really. Sharp corners more than 10 knots. And anything less than 45, anything more than 45 degrees, we want to be at 10 knots really. But I like to taxi the Max. You can just kind of add a little bit of power and it will just go. Looks like I'm having a bit of a latency issue, and this is the problem when you stream your literal gaming PC. If your internet decides it doesn't want to work as fast, it will not work as fast, and if your internet decides it wants to lag out at a time where you're taxiing, good luck. It has happened to me before on a Batsim event. Fortunately, the lag spike only lasted a few seconds, so I was able to just whack my parking brakes on and sort everything out. However, I've had it where the lag spike has literally caused me to crash. Yeah. So I've got a bit of a latency issue at the minute. It's about a second behind, near enough. Okay, it looks like it's caught up now. It's wonderful. So if you see me just sometimes look around frantically, it's just that I had a bit of break here. So we do that to essentially tell the cabin, listen, we're ready to take. We can take off. We're just waiting on you're, ready when you are. And they'll buzz something. They'll buzz you, and then you get the cabin crew seats for takeoff. Now when my lag spikes come back, that's not good. My latency is massively shot up. Okay, we'll just hold short here for a bit. It's fine. Don't want to do a bit of hand flying with this, so I'm just going to hold short here. It does look like latency has improved, so yeah, we'll go. Okay, cabin crew seats for takeoff, please. Strobe lights on, landing lights on, and a bit of power. Get moving. But yeah, this airplane's been an absolute dream for me to fly. I've already flown it across the Atlantic on 2 separate occasions. I got it last week. I flew it once from Birmingham to New York in a Ryanair, and I posted it in the Microsoft Flight Simulator group, and I got quite a few funny comments about it because I did a Ryanair flight from Birmingham to New York. O'Leary definitely after my head for that. And then I did an alpaca one from Birmingham to St. John's. Okay, alright, 40% M1. Right, we'll go 50%. Slight forward pressure on the nose. Oh, come on, where's the click spot? Okay, you know what? We'll just find it ourselves. There we go. Anyway, it says 80 knots, release forward pressure. We've got a bit of right rudder, so we're gonna, oh yeah, the headwind's changed, so we're gonna go a little left aileron.
V1.
Rotate. Nope. Come on, up you go, up, up, up. That's a rate, gear up. Trimming nose up. Left-hand turn there. There's 400 feet, VNAV's coming on. And we're just going to hand fly for a bit. So you hear me doing that, you hear that sound, that's me trimming the airplane. I'm just gonna put it in autopilot. The speed window, just speed down to about here. And we'll go flaps up now. And 3,000 feet, we're going up to 6,000, so we're just gonna level off and well, that's set standard, not level off. This is fatigue again, speaking heavily based off fatigue, which can be an issue. But yeah. Okay, we're coming up to our stop altitude now, so I'm going to set vertical speed. We're going to go down to 1,000 feet per minute, if it can even manage that. We are incredibly lightly loaded. Now, usually on a 737 as well, you've got to automatically set the altitude manually, but I've got it set up so that it does it automatically. The reason why it does that is it's just for, you know, to reduce my workload, especially when I'm planning second climbs and all that. It reduces my workload. Sometimes you forget, especially when you're simming, you're not in a two crew environment. It's very easy to forget things, because normally one person will be flying, one person will be handling radios and systems. Anyways, we've got altitude acquire now, so we're just going to switch this over to VNAV. I should say. Yep. Okay, we're gonna go back up to. We're gonna go up to our cruising altitude now. So 4,000 feet, flight of 140. So set once, set twice, set 3 times. It's a standard procedure. I'm also gonna get rid of the M1 limit and I'll go straight up to climb, full climb thrust. Hear the engines roar to life at max power. There we are. We'll release the cabin crew. After takeoff checklist, it starts a continuous. Check the cabin altitude. So yep, cabin pressure is increasing. Cabin altitude. Yeah, cabin altitude increasing. Pressure is 3 point. Yeah, cabin pressure is basically cabin altitude. Cabin's pressurizing fine. Turn offs. Turn off a taxi light. We're going to make a left-hand turn here. There's flight level 100. Landing lights off. Turn offs off. Seatbelt sign off as well. Now, due to the very short nature of the flight, there wouldn't really be a service. As a matter of fact, I don't know how this would work. It's just a very short flight. The one problem it does oversteer a lot. Right, we'll reduce our angle of bank now. Max angle of bank to about 10 degrees. I'm going to leave the landing lights dim. I mean, not the landing lights, the cabin lights. Make sure our VNAV speed is set for 284. Yeah, it does look like our VNAV speed. It won't do like a massive deceleration or massive acceleration. I'm also going to already plan my top of descent fixed rings as well. This is how busy this flight is. So again, so that's 48 because it's no, it's 14. So it's not 14. So 42. 42, 10, and 4. We don't have an EFB that's automatically gonna predict our landing rate. So we're gonna have to kind of do this manually. How do we do this? See, it's bumped up our speed now to 310 knots. That's fine. So what we're looking for, I'm just going to turn the sim sounds down. I'm going to leave the music off. In fact, we'll bring some music back on. We'll bring some music back on. Get the vibes good. Right, so we've got 3.7 tons of fuel now. This is a fuel quantity. This is our landing fuel quantity. So we're going to burn 0.4 tons. So if we head over to here, init ref, we've got 62.4. We're going to burn 0.4 tons of fuel. So we're going to land with 62 tons of fuel. Now, I'm going to quickly go on SimBrief and just punch in that. SimBrief will give us a very accurate landing rate. We're going to probably go flaps 30 due to our lack of weight. So we're going to go, yeah, flaps 30, auto brakes 2. The app should be 145. So if we go for 62, we'll go for that. Yeah, that's about right. And we're going auto brakes 2. We're going to head up. You can see Navigraph is open. And we're going to just quickly look on here. So again, it's very, very busy. 109.099.247, that's already been pre-programmed. 468 is going to be our minimums. 468. It's going to set you over to 468 on this side. Okay, it's a very, very short flight. I already know what gate I'm taking and everything. I'm taking gate 20 because it's the only one with a jet bridge. That's it. I like jet bridges. 099.247. We'll just tune this up now. 099 on one side, 099 on box 1, 099 on box 2. Everything else looks going swimmingly. So yeah, we're just making this flight right. This is what I mean. This is a very, very short flight. In fact, let me bring up the map for you. If I got the map up, let me bring up the map to show you where I am right now. So we'll zoom out a bit. Actually, forgot to turn on the map. We'll bring the map up. Zoom it out. So look, we're nearly already halfway there. And our runway approach is actually a straight shot in as well. So it's once we get to Blacker, we're literally turning back onto it. We're actually already going to begin our descent in less than 10 miles out. So we're going to descend down to our initial transition altitude is 6,000 feet, right? So just make sure we put down flight level 0065. set 7,000 feet as our. We set 6,000. Well, actually, yeah, we're going to go down to 6,000. 6,000 initially, and then once we're below 10,000, we'll drop down to our platform altitude. We'll actually begin our descent now, so we'll just begin our descent a bit early. Okay, Starro cockpit. Yeah, music's already coming off, guys. This is just, again, this is what I mean by a very, very short flight. It's borderline just a hop from A to B. Landing lights can come on as well, because of our altitude. We're below 15,000. Seatbelt signs on as well. So yeah, we should be on the ground in 13 minutes. This goes to show how short this flight actually is. Have I put in the wrong flight number on this? Oh god, I have. Right, hold on. I'm going to just change the overlay. There we go. The overlay should have updated now. Didn't realise the overlay didn't update. Would have given you guys a cabin tour. Hello, me. The amount of work I genuinely put into that was unnecessary. The safety guard, again, I ripped a lot of this from Alpaca, so the guy who designed the Alpaca livery, I take absolutely zero credit, by the way, for like the majority of this. I just reskinned it. The credit goes to the people who actually designed the liveries. What I did do, however, for the magazine, I feel like I did alright. Where that took essentially I had to bring up a I put an image of myself, removed myself, and then added text of like lots of different cities around the world as like Union Airways' destinations, and it's like behind, and then I had to give it a name as well with ChatGPT. I can't even see the name. That's the funny thing. You can kind of have a glimpse of it in the business class cabin. There we go. What's it called? Elevate, that's it. Elevate. You see it? Elevate. By Union Airways. She's wearing a Just Do It t-shirt. Like, this is as sketchy as it gets when it comes to in-flight magazines, but we've just got to make do with what we've got. Anyways, we're going to begin decelerating. There we go. I'm just going to add some speed brake now, so just... You can just feel the vibrations of the speed brakes, which is what it would be like in real life. I think it does it really well. Rather than having a loud roaring sound, it's more like a vibration-y sound, like a bassy rumble sound. As we're slightly now above profile, but we should be okay. We're going to make a slight right-hand turn, and then that's pretty much going to be it for our descent, our arrival. 1026 is our barometer, it's our pressure. 026. So we're going to again set our altitude down to platform altitude, which is 2,500 feet. Once we get below 10,000, we'll go to 2,500 feet, where we'll set standard pressure. And we'll set local pressure, local QNH. We'll leave the turn-offs off for now. So we've lost speed, which is good because now we can just pitch down to just kind of gain it back. And we'll get back on profile very quickly. 408, 419. So yep, cabin crew. In fact, I'll do it from the cockpit perspective. Cabin crew, 10 minutes to landing. 10 minutes. I'm not a real pilot. Yeah, but no. Yeah, so that's what usually they do. So it gives you kind of like final warning. Get the cabin room secure for landing. I'm now going to open my speed window. I'm going to manage my speed manually. This allows me to kind of, if I want to add more drag, which I will eventually around about, and start wanting to descend a bit more, I'm going to add a bit of drag and go to flaps. You can actually go all the way to flaps 5 at this speed, up to 250 knots. Look at here. So flaps 5 up to 250 knots. So 10 miles out, I like to be flaps 5 already. Flaps 5 180, 10 miles out. Gear down's flap 15 is at 4 miles out, and then I want to be fully configured basically as soon as possible after that. And with the 737 series, you disconnect the auto throttle and autopilot. You cannot fly the autopilot without the auto throttle. I mean, you can, but it's not a good practice too. Anyways, considering we've got about 30 miles left, I'm going to add flaps. I'm going to add 1 notch of flaps, just to add a bit of drag. Again, I do think that the sounds, the one thing I didn't like is the sound fades out with the flaps. But the way the flap sounds come on compared to the PMDG, which more like is a kind of sound, whereas the iFly just goes straight into it. It just goes like, it doesn't have that loading up time. I purposely didn't try and hit the pitch of the 737 flap sounds. I can replicate them perfectly. I just don't want to. That's embarrassing for me. But no. It has that, it just goes straight into it, and that aggression is more realistic. And this is where I think Boris did incredibly well with his sound design. That's why I like the criticism that I'm giving him, if any, isn't really criticism. It's more just that's what I think. It doesn't fade out at the end, but I do think the way it comes on, the sound of the flaps comes on is very accurate. I rate Boris audio works very highly. I think he's one of the best sound designers in the flight simming community by a long shot. Like, I don't think there's many, if any, that come close to him. About 24 miles out now, so I'm going to start reducing my speed to about 220 knots. I'm going to also add flaps 2 again, just to add a bit of drag. So again, listen how aggressively comes on, very subtly fades off. Right, we're struggling to bleed off, so we're gonna add just some speed brakes. I'm gonna turn right as well, so I'm just gonna switch this over to there. I'm gonna turn right to roughly 270 to intercept the glide slope just a bit better. It's a bit earlier. I want to intercept the localizer just a bit earlier. I just turn my runway, turn off lights. And 19 miles out now, so we really want to be. Here we go. So we've got a localizer now, so we're just going to set this now to 247. And I'm going to just reduce my speed to around about 210, 200. We'll go 200 for now. I'm going to zoom in on the map for you guys as well. Yeah, that's about right. That's fine. Speed brake armed. 200 knots. Go around altitude is for this airport 3,000. I do not even want to think about going around. I am tired. I want to go sleep, and I've got a busy day ahead of me tomorrow. I've got lots of referencing to do. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, do what we can. So yeah, we're coming up to 5 miles now, so I'm going to reduce my speed again to 180 knots, and we're going to go flaps 5 now. We've now got a good enough drag ratio that we're going to be able to slow down now while maintaining a safe descent rate. It's funny because even though we're aligned with the localizer, we've not actually caught the localizer, which is quite interesting. So localizers don't even have the range, but we've caught onto it. Plus, like the airplane systems have caught onto it, which is incredible. Because when it's caught, it will turn full magenta. Children of the magenta line, heed my warning. Yeah, you would not be able to do this with a non-RNAV aircraft. If you do not have RNAV, you would have to manually vet yourself onto the ILS. You would not be able to join the ILS about 10 miles, like 10 miles early. If it's not there, it's not there. Fortunately for us, it's there. Well, it wasn't there, but fortunately for us, our plane just can tell us it's there. Right, I'm going to turn my landing taxi lights on. We'll pretend we've been given clearance to land, so engine starts to continuous already. We would probably be given clearance to land just based on how, well, actually, you'd be told to, you know, establish and localize it and then clearance to land. But there we go. See how it's filled in now? We've caught the glide slope, and we're now just going to descend at a very nice shallow rate. Cabin crew seats for landing. Wait, let me do it properly. Let's go to view 7. Cabin crew seats for landing, please. So yeah, the way I have my viewpoint set up as well, just before we begin our final checks, is I like to have 9 and I go in order, right? So left to right, back to front. Yeah, back to front, right to left. So 4, starting off with viewpoint 4. So go 4, 5. So 4 is right at the back, near enough right at the back. 5 is like just between the wing and the back. 6 is usually about over wing. 7 is just in front of the wing where the engine is. 8 is where you can see the engine itself, and 9 is right at the front. And then for my cockpit, 1, 2 is my FMC, 3 is my EFB if I've got one, and 0 is my overhead panel. The reason why it's like this, I don't know. It's just how when I was in X-Plane, when I first played X-Plane, that's just how I managed to set my views up over time, just for convenience. End up being 0 was overhead, 1 was my main view, because 1 usually is, because I don't have a number pad, you see. So that's just how it came to be. Right, 145 is, we're gonna go 140. We're gonna go 144 to find approach speed. Yeah, we can't go gear down flap 15 because it's 200 knots. So gear down, flaps 15, and speed down to 160. Until below 190, which we are, so we can now go down to here, and we're gonna go right down to our final approach speed of 144 knots. There you go. Right. Once the speed is kind of stabilized, don't want to be doing too much faffing around with the thrust. My airplane. So now I'm going to do, this is all hand flown now. 1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Approach altitude set, 3,000 feet. Get GSX to get me stand 20. Oh, I'll just taxi up to it. I think it's 21. Yeah, I'll just taxi up to it because I've unstabilized myself again. Bit of power. So you see the pappies there? They weren't there on the last flight, which was quite annoying. it meant I only had, the only thing I had was my raw data from my ILS and no pappies to go off, so I couldn't really judge if I was too high or not, especially when it came down to the touchdown. Getting a bit choppy, that's fine.
400.
400 feet.
300.
It's where your workload becomes really high now because you're monitoring your speed.
Approaching minimums.
Yep, that's 4. Let's
200.
lift our nose up.
Minimums.
Continue. You know, we're a bit high, we're a bit low. That's fine.
100. Wide slope.
Oh, yep. Don't need to tell me twice.
50. 40. 30. 20.
Check.
10.
Close. Hold the attitude. Bob's your uncle. Nice and firm on the ground. Um, 70 knots. Slow reverses. Cancel the auto brakes. Let the aircraft just kind of roll out on yourself. And we're going to take the next right. The airplane will probably continue, so we'll just kill our spoilers. Again, this is one thing that Boris does really well, is the sound of the wheels over the center line of the runway, as well as the sound of the wheels over the lights on the runway. As I say, Boris is one of my favourite sound designers. The way he's able to accurately create the rumble, like even the rumbling sound of the wheels just rolling over the air, over the concrete, or dare say tarmac, I'll get cancelled by the aviation community in a split second. Okay, we'll turn off our landing lights. We don't need these anymore. We'll switch our engine mode selectors to off for now. We're keeping our taxi speed quite low just because we're going to make another right hand turn. I'm going to switch our strobe lights to off now. So we've cleared the threshold. We're still not active. We're not even on an active runway. It's 4 in the morning. Right, let's add some brake and let's make this right hand turn here. A bit of power. Right, I need to see what stand I'm on. Let's see. Hopefully, I don't veer off. I want. We're going for stand 22. I do not care if it's international pier with domestic passengers. You can open a door for us. Right. Let's get APU started. So we're not going to make this left. We're going to make the left. I'm going to make next left. Another thing as well, because we're going to be making a left here. So that's the gate we want. Here we go. Do we have APU? APU is going to turn on in a second. Timing your APU isn't something that is learned overnight, by the way. Where you can get your APU to turn on right as you turn into the gate. Like that's something that genuinely takes a lot of time. And even I don't get it right. I don't get it perfectly. I say even I, like I'm an actual 737 pilot. I try and time APUs because in real life you don't really want your APU on as that long because your APU is loud. The APU is ridiculously loud. It will hurt your ears. Like that's a well-timed APU switch. And now I have to make this parking. I well undershot this. Again, fatigue. Lane fatigue. Oh. Let's get the centre wheels over and we'll just line back up with the middle. I'm just gonna now. Pulled my brake way too early. There we go, that's better. See what it gives us. Do we get a Gangnam Style? We do not get a Gangnam Style. Oh, that's a shame. I like when you do the Gangnam Style. Basically, if you get a very good parking, like in GSX or perfect parking, you get the Gangnam Style animation, and it's really fun. It even plays the music. Right. Cabin crew, doors to manual cross check. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Belfast. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is phase through a wall. And then we're going to get... Oh, for goodness sake. Right. Let's get our... this is the only problem with the lights. I'll just open the window. Ground power can come on. We're probably on auto anyways, it's fine. I'd even disarm the doors, right?
The boarding requested.
We'll disarm this because we need to disarm this. So yeah, again, you always do the bar first, but I don't think you can disarm through the bar on this. But in real life, you do always do the girt bar first. Why is the beacon light still on? Okay, that's just... Again, this is where fatigue really plays a part when you're tired, and this is why obviously fatigue does play a part.
Passengers deboarding starting.
See, that's it's not a good jetway connection, but it will do. Yeah, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying with me today. Thank you on this first stream, and yeah, I think I gained a few subscribers from this as well, which is quite fun actually. But yeah, it's 4:27. I'm gonna go bed. I'll see you guys on the next one. Ta-ta.